Good morning, everybody. We're now live on YouTube.
Thank you. Good morning, everyone, and welcome to this morning's licensing subcommittee. We're here this morning to discuss a new premises licence for Felixstowe Ferry Golf Club. The first item on today's agenda is to seek nominations for a chair, please. If I could have a nomination. Sorry.
Working. I nominate Alan Green. Yes.
Thank you. Over to you, Chair.
Good morning, everyone. For those of us in the Devon conference room, there are no fire alarm tests scheduled for today. Therefore, if the alarm sounds, please follow the green emergency exit signs to the nearest available exit. Do not use the lift. Please go to the fire assembly point at the entrance to Raduna Park, which is where you came in over there, in the front of the concrete structure. Do not re-enter the building until you're informed it is safe to do so. For those who may be watching the meeting on the Council's YouTube channel, I would explain that during the discussion of the following item, any participants joining the meeting via Zoom will raise their hands virtually and I will invite them to speak. At the conclusion of our consideration of this application, the subcommittee, together with the legal advisor and clerk, will adjourn to consider its decision. A message to that effect will be shown on the YouTube channel for the duration of the adjournment. At the end of the adjournment, if for any reason we require more time to deliberate, the clerk or myself will reopen the broadcast to indicate revised time for reconvening of the meeting. The message on the YouTube channel will be also refreshed to reflect the new time. Well, good morning again, everyone. My name is Alan Green. I'm chairing the meeting today. I'm the ward councillor for Kettingland. I'd like to invite my colleagues.
Councillor Lee Reeves. I represent Orwell and Villages.
Councillor Andre G. I represent Oulton Broad Ward. Oh, so sorry. Yes.
Oh, it's me.
Yes. Sorry, for the record, I will reintroduce myself. I'm Andre G., councillor for Oulton Broad Ward.
We normally have this in a closed session. We don't have a microphone. Oh, sorry about that. Everyone.
Oh, right.
Anyway, Ed, introduce yourself. You're Ed Thompson from
Bartram and Kurdistan.
Thank you. The reason for the substitute is that if anything happened to a member of the subcommittee before the meeting commenced, or one of us was taken ill during the meeting, the substitute can take their place. The substitute remain for the meeting and may retire with the subcommittee to observe its discussion as it arrives at its decision. This is for training purposes, and the substitute will not participate in deliberations or the formation of a decision. May I ask if there are any objections to the substitute retiring with the subcommittee? Thank you. Are there any declarations of interest?
No.
No. Andrea?
No.
No. Thank you. Are there any lobbying?
No.
Thank you. I'd like to invite the rest of our officers to introduce themselves. Legal advisor.
Jo Hooley, Legal and Licensing Services Manager.
Morning, Katie Cassidy, Democratic Services Officer, and I'm clerking today, and I'm joined by my colleagues who are hosting the meeting as well.
And our licensing officers.
Jodie Fisher, Licensing Officer. Tiffany Bentley, Licensing Manager.
Would you like to introduce yourself?
Hi, I'm Ben Toole. I'm the General Manager at Felixstowe Ferry Golf Club and the Designated Premises Supervisor.
Are there any respect? You said no. Responsible authorities, no. And the representative of any interested parties who made a relevant presentation? You'll be asked to speak in a little while, okay? Could I ask the legal advisor to clarify the procedure that will be followed, please?
Thank you, Chair. Just to confirm that firstly, the licensing officer will present their report and then questions will be asked in the following order. Firstly, the subcommittee, then the applicant, then objectors and myself. Then the applicant will present their case and questions will be asked in the following order. Subcommittee first, then the licensing officer, objector, myself. Then the objector will present their cases, each in turn. Questions will be asked of the objectors in the following order. Firstly, the subcommittee, licensing officer, then the applicant, then myself. And following this, there will be closing speeches if required in the following order. Licensing officer, objector, and then finally the applicant. After this, the subcommittee and legal advisor will retire and the subcommittee will reach a decision and then return and announce that decision. Thank you.
Thank you. Have everybody here received a copy of the agenda for today? Yeah. I have to ask this. Do you wish to withdraw your application? No, thank you.
No.
To the licensed officer, has there been any requests for appearance of witnesses? Sorry, I'm not going to. No, thank you. Right. To ask the licensed officer to summarise the written report. Oh yeah, sorry, over there.
Thank you. Tables moving. An application has been made for a new premises licence for Felixstowe Ferry Golf Club, Ferry Road, Felixstowe, Suffolk, IP 11-9RY. The reason for this hearing is that 3 relevant representations have been received from local residents. There were no objections from any of the responsible authorities, that's the fire service, trade and standards, planning, the police, environmental protection and public health. The applicant has agreed conditions with environmental health, food and safety team. These are detailed in the report at point 4, points for consideration. The applicant has been provided a copy of the representations and that is attached to the Appendix C of the report. The report identifies a number of other points for the subcommittee to consider. These are the guidance issued under Section 182 of the Licensing Act 2003, the Council's current statement licensing policy and the Human Rights Act 1998. If the subcommittee has reason to depart from these, it is asked to give full reasons for doing so. The subcommittee will be asked to determine this application by 1, granting the application subject to any mandatory conditions and to those consistent with the application. 2, granting the application subject to the same condition but modified to such an extent the subcommittee considers appropriate for promotion of the licensing objectives. Or 3, by rejecting the application. Depending on the decision of the subcommittee, both the applicant and other parties that have made representations have the right of appeal to a magistrate's court. When announcing the decision, the subcommittee is asked to state its reasons. Thank you.
Thank you. Do you wish any questions for the licensed officer?
Yeah. Are you aware of any complaints at these premises previously? I know it's a new application, but obviously they were trading previous.
There is, at the current clubhouse, there was 1 complaint on file, that's back in 2018, but the complaint was regards to music, which went past the licensing times, but the temporary event notice was in place, so everything was covered from the licensing point of view. That is the only complaint we hold on file, so 2018.
Thank you. Thank you. Before you state your case, did you want to ask anything of the licensing officer?
No, no questions.
Okay, it's now your turn to put your case forward.
Okie dokie. So, good morning, everyone. Thank you for your time this morning. Sorry, I'll stop.
Therefore, do you have any questions for the licensing officer?
Just on their report.
Just on the report, what you just said. Could you come forward?
Yeah.
Good morning. My name is Sharon Cartwright and I live in Cliff Road, close to the golf club. You just mentioned one complaint on file. I believe that was from myself. Over the years, as my representation will explain, I have made several complaints to the golf club. So are your records only from 2018 onwards?
That's the only complaint that we have. I don't know if you've gone to environmental protection, but from the licensing team point of view, that's as far as our records go. Our records would go back for many years if there was something to be held. There's no time limit on a complaint history to be held.
Thank you. Yes, my other complaints were to other agents within the council. Thank you.
Okay, sorry, you carry on now. Sorry about that.
Not a problem at all. So yeah, I'd just like to start obviously with the reason why we requested a new license fully rather than adapting. We're obviously currently building a new clubhouse, which is about 100 yards away from the current building that was there before it got demolished. And obviously correctly stated by the licensing team, we weren't able to actually amend it and move that across to the other building itself that we currently had. We've obviously requested a few changes within that premises license to the current one that we have. There are some earlier starts in regards to availability to alcohol. And there's also 4 days, which we're looking to extend by 30 minutes of alcohol sales compared to the previous premises license. We've had to also add a split in regards to late night refreshments. So this was focused on tea, coffees, bacon rolls, sandwiches, etc. For events afterwards. We're not looking to advertise that. Our main area was actually for New Year's Eve, being the fact that New Year's Eve can land from any day of the week. We thought that was important to have as an addition into the premises license itself. We're not looking to actively advertise that to any functions or weddings. It's more on the sense that if someone came across to us to say, could we offer that? I know that's one of the concerns, obviously, with the objectors. In regards to the clubhouse itself, the new clubhouse, it's actually situated further away from the housing developments, only by 100 yards, obviously. But in regards to our function room, purposely with the council and obviously through planning as well, we were aimed to have that as far away as possible from the actual public residents and try and keep that as far away as possible. So it's our furthest distance away from any of the housing. We do have a cafe as well included in there, which is a public service. But again, although offering potential alcohol sales because it was within one building, we're realistically only going to be having that open up until around 7 o'clock in the evening in summertime. So again, we're not looking to have the public facing side open until 11:30. That wouldn't be viable for us or feasible. And at the same time, in regards to events, again, it's still exactly at the same time that would extend to from our previous premises license. Again, it wouldn't be feasible or viable for us to be day in, day out having events for a golf club first and foremost. It's just having that availability from Monday to Sunday rather than having 3 days, half an hour earlier and 4 days, half an hour later. In regards to the availability for outdoors, we thought that was important because there's a terrace as well for the members' side of the actual clubhouse. If that's incorrectly put forwards, then I apologise in regards to the off-premises option. In regards to the halfway hut as well, that's just added if there was any wish for members or our societies that may want to have a drink whilst they go around the course as well. Again, if that's something that shouldn't have been put in there, then I apologise. In regards to protection for the local residents as well, obviously to the public members of our staff, there is improvements in regards to our new building as well. So we'll actually have working CCTV, which is a big difference, both exterior and interior wise. In regards to our public car, well, not public, our private car park, that's also going to have automated barrier system in place as well as protection. So it will only be those that are supposed to be at the golf club, in regards to whether that's members or whether that's a event or a function within the function room itself. In regards to cafe visitors, they would only be able to use the public car park. We wouldn't be looking to offer that availability in the private car park at all. There'll be new lighting as well, obviously, in the car park, which wasn't there before. Previously, the car park that we used to have was accessible to anyone at any time of the day, whenever they wanted to. So we are improving our protection for our local residents and at the same time the public as well, and trying to narrow down the nuisance as much as we possibly can. Obviously, a lot of those are all controllable by ourselves, and we feel capable of doing that. As per the licensing team, the last complaint was 2018. I've been in place just over 4 years at the golf club, and we haven't had, and in regards to having any available in the last 4 years, I haven't had personally any complaints directly to myself. So in regards to that, we feel that all of the things that we've put forward are sensible changes in regards to what we're going to be able to offer. We're not looking to be a nightclub or anything like that. That's not of interest to us. That's not our purpose. Our purpose is just to have that availability for certain functions. And if a wedding wants to be hosted on a Monday or a Sunday or a Tuesday, we have that availability to be able to use that function room. In regards to a few of the obviously concerns that come across, I know there's been some that obviously are controllable by ourselves, but there are also some that were not. Totally appreciate in regards to coastal awareness. That's of importance based on location for every single building in Felixstowe, to be honest, at any asset and any establishment. In regards to obviously something that's happened previously, all I can pass on is apologies in regards to loud music. But as rightly said as well, that was under a 10 notice as well. But we do take care in regards to our local residents, and we do want to listen to them and try and support them where we can as well and work together. I think any other objection points were already responded to by the licensing team prior to this hearing as well. Hopefully that's all of use, and hopefully that helps ease concerns and puts across our understanding as to what we've requested.
Do you have any questions?
Yeah. Firstly, you say that there will be CCTV. Who will be monitoring that whilst during the period that it's being hired out to other parties?
So that will be actually live within our building itself. So we've got live footage inside. We've also have that remote service in regards to phones nowadays as well. So that will go directly to myself and our clubhouse managers as well. So there'll be someone on site throughout, obviously the functions anyway. And we'll be able to review anything as well, which will be a complete difference into regards to the previous scenario as well. So we'll be able to monitor everything in that sense.
I understand there are 5 new houses being built on your land, much closer to the clubhouse than other premises. How do you intend to mitigate the noise that will be generated, not rebounding off those new houses as is likely?
Yeah, so again, obviously we focused on having the function room the furthest point away as possible to those houses to minimise that situation. We'll have a lot of building regulations to approve as well in regards to acoustics and everything else as well. So that's still got to be completed by building regulations when it's all complete. We're very well aware, obviously, when we talk to those that are showing interest to those houses as well, that they're obviously a bit closer than previous housing, which they've taken positively. They're actually becoming members of the golf club as well within their agreement with the houses as well. So they've been very supportive and understand the development that we're taking on.
Andrea? Okay.
What was the last one? I was in the- oh. It's gone at the moment. Yeah, one of the complaints made by the objectors is that you don't advertise what events are happening at your golf club publicly, only through a password protected, which means they don't know if there's going to be an event running until 1 or 2 in the morning. Would it be possible for that to change so that residents can have access to know what's on, so they know that they're in for a late night on a particular time?
Yeah, that's definitely something we can definitely have a look into to see what we can do publicly wise, potentially through our website, again, on the front facing side of it. So there is a members bit behind for tea times, etc. But yeah, we can definitely have a look at that with Reach Digital to see what we can do and add some sort of planner on there to just say there's an event. We won't be able to obviously go into too much depth for obvious reasons, but we should be able to do something like that if necessary.
The licensing officer, do you have any questions for the applicant?
No, I don't, thank you.
There is a point on here at my discretion, if any of the representatives want to ask a question to the applicant. I know you're going to do your own representation in a minute, but was there any particular question you wanted to ask the applicant?
Yes, I would, please. May I ask, well, it hasn't gone green, is this working? Okay, good. May I ask what steps will be taken to monitor noise levels from events?
So again, we'll have an acoustic control in regards to our building regulations. So they will already stop that within our building. That will be able to protect the sound inside quite comfortably. Again, that's the reason for why it was set up in such a way in regards to planning and going through that with the East Suffolk Council as well for planning to make sure that the function room was the furthest point possible from residents.
Sorry, if I can come back. My real concern is outdoor events on some new lawns that are in place, and those sort of events. How will the noise be monitored to ensure that there isn't nuisance to neighbours?
So this is probably where we would need to liaise with the residents, make them aware obviously that there may well be an outdoor event going on with music at certain times. I don't envisage us using it at a ridiculous time. I wouldn't believe that we'd be probably looking at any further than 9 o'clock in the evening, because again, we'd want to make sure that we look after our residents and make sure that we're not making a nuisance and moving things indoors so that we have that protection on the acoustic levels.
Thank you. I'd rather you, if you've left everything is your representation, and then the committee will decide on what you want to on your deliberations. Okay.
Taking on that point.
Sorry.
Comment on that point.
Yeah.
You heard what the objector said. Would you be willing to accept a condition that lawns won't be used, say, after 9?
In regards to sound, yes. With music, yeah, that's not an issue for us in that sense at all. So, I mean, realistically, it's going to be indoors that we're going to have the music anyway. Functions are going to have it indoors. It's more going to be afternoon if they're having a wedding reception, they want to use the lawn in the afternoon, have some music out there, etc. We're not looking to have discos, etc. on the lawn. Wouldn't make any sense. We've got no electrics there either.
Thank you. Legal advisor, did you want to ask any questions of the applicant? Well, we now come to representations from yourselves. Is there how many? Is there going to be 3 of you? Is there 3?
Yeah.
Yeah, and presumably you'll be first.
Yeah. Yes.
Okay.
Thank you. I'm making representation to object to the new premises licence application lodged by Felixstowe Ferry Golf Club, as I feel that the club has not given sufficient consideration to how they will meet the objective within the Licensing Act for the prevention of public nuisance from club activities. Notably, mitigation against increased noise nuisance to nearby residents from the premises being open later finish times for events, off-premises alcohol sales, and in seeking a late night refreshment licence. The new clubhouse is a new function suite, public cafe and lawns, and it is located in a residential area on the edge of a cliff next to the sea. Noise from both indoor and outdoor permitted activities at the club is often amplified due to the proximity of the water, then carries across an open area of cliff top, the council's Clifflands car park, to resonate against homes in Cliff Road and to residences in the streets inland. I have often been disturbed throughout the duration of an event at the club by the constant bass beat of music and even louder DJ and MC announcements. I fear that noise nuisance to residents will increase as the club's new application seeks to increase the performance of live music, recorded music, and dance to indoors and out, to every day of the week, and to a later finish time. I am particularly concerned about the use by the club of 2 new lawns adjacent to the function suite, which are marked on the licence application to be used for licensable activities and alcohol consumption. I have endured numerous noisy events from the club over the years that I have lived in Cliff Road. Examples are a weekday before Mr. Towell's tenure, admittedly, a weekday wedding celebration for a club member with extraordinarily loud music, which, despite 2 phone calls to the club from me requesting the volume be turned down, overran the licensed finish time. A member of my household contacted police when very loud music and even louder DJ announcements disturbed us when a Father's Day event was held in a marquee at the club, despite gatherings being curtailed due to pandemic restrictions. The club often lodges temporary event notices, TENs, with the council to vary and extend the times granted in their premises licence. On one occasion, I was hoping for respite from the music and announcements at midnight, as per the premises licence, but the noise nuisance continued until 1 AM, as a 10 had been lodged for a summer ball. Homeowners cannot mitigate against disturbance from permitted activities at the club, as the club's website is password protected and it is impossible to check for forthcoming events. I am deeply concerned about the new premises licence seeking off-premises alcohol sales at the club until 23:30 and a late night refreshment licence until 1 AM, both daily. Due to antisocial behaviour in the council car park adjacent to the golf club and opposite homes in Cliff Road, access to most parking spaces in the car park is closed off each night by the council, leaving a roadway and a few spaces that face the sea. Should this be a new business for the club of serving takeaway food and alcohol to members of the public inside the new cafe, or from an outside window or hatch, I feel that this would likely lead to increased noise, litter, and vehicle movements from customers gathering opposite our homes to access the cafe, a destination, if you will, which would be via the roadway in Clifflands car park. I'm requesting that the off-premises alcohol sales and the late night refreshment licence not be granted to the club. Further, I am requesting that the conditions relating to the prevention of public nuisance in Annex 2 of the current licence be included in any new licence granted to the club, and that the conditions are strengthened to include the prevention of the use of a 10 to circumvent licence conditions, that the club provides publicly available notice of future events, and that the club provides a publicly available contact telephone number for use by members of the public in connection with premises supervision. Currently, with the additional conditions attached to the licence, there is mention of a marquee. Events in the marquee are permitted for only 5 events per calendar year and until 2330. I fear that the new lawns will be used for marquee events, and that within the new licence, the request is that music could be played from 0900 until 1 o'clock in the morning the next day. And as a resident, it is noise nuisance that is my main consideration. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much for that. Do you have any questions?
Excuse me. Yeah. That's okay. I mean, we've heard from the applicant that they may be willing. Can you just turn off your? Yeah, thanks. They may be willing to limit the amount of outside activity after, say, 9 o'clock in the evening. And I also believe that they're not going to serve to the public the food up to 1 o'clock or whenever. That will only be within the licensed premises. So with those mitigations, do you feel more comfortable if that were to be conditioned? Yes.
An end time of 9 p.m. is reasonable. But as I stated, the new licence requests that any of those events with music, dance, performance can begin at 9 a.m. And if this were a sporting event, the current fashion is to have music with a lot of sports events that take place. I'm thinking of Live Golf, for example, in Saudi, which has constant music, even though the players are going around the course. And we would be looking at perhaps 9 a.m. to 9 p.m. The homes on Cliff Road take advantage of the sea view, obviously. It would be impossible, I think, to use our balconies to enjoy a coffee if the music starts at 9. And I wasn't satisfied that there has been thought as to how noise levels will be monitored.
Andrea, do you have any questions? Any questions for this representation? Oh, lighted office, sorry, yes. Over there, you're over there.
No further questions, but just to make it clear, just for everyone, that if a license is to be granted and they get what they apply for, and they're not upholding the license and objectives, you can call a review of the license. So nothing is indefinite if a license is granted, whether it be this premises or any premises, there's always that option for review there.
Thank you. I have a discretion if you wanted to ask this representation any question.
No, I've not got any questions in regards to that. Just to state in regards to the public numbers, they are actually available on our website.
Thank you. Well, thank you for your representation. Is there anybody else that wanted to speak? Yeah. Good morning. Could I ask, if possible, to have something new to add rather than, because we've heard quite eloquently from what the lady brought. It's okay.
Thank you. My name is Jane Pierce. I live in Ferry Road, about 300 metres from the venue. I have a number of concerns about this application and the extent of it. So firstly, the extent of the proposed hours with music, as Mrs. Cartwright has said, from 9 AM until midnight potentially, late night refreshments from 11 until 1 AM potentially, alcohol from 9 until 11:30. I think that these hours are far too long, and I also object to them being for every day. I would much prefer the old conditions and hours. I'm concerned that the music and dancing can happen outside as well as inside under the proposed application. So my objection is really to the extent of the proposed licence. This is a golf club in a predominantly residential area, not an events venue. Mr. Towles referred to a few changes and an offer being extended. It's not a few changes compared with the previous hours. They're very significant changes. And the previous hours distinguished Sunday to Thursday and then had different hours on a Friday and Saturday. I would be much more comfortable with those hours. So far as the specific objections are concerned, dealing with public safety, I have concerns about the extensive times for serving alcohol as a threat to public safety. The new clubhouse is very close to the cliff. There are a set of steps to the beach and very easy access to the sea. That part of the Suffolk coast has extremely odd currents, and there are hazards to people who might have had too much to drink, particularly late at night, and think that it would be good to go swimming or paddling or go down to the beach. We recently saw 11 people killed in the hot weather, plunging into cold water. In terms of the protection of children, there are a lot of families using the beach immediately adjacent to the clubhouse, particularly in school holidays and at weekends. The car park and comings and goings with traffic, when people are using the side roads as access to the beach, concerns me with families crossing the road and traffic coming and going. The extended times for serving alcohol could lead to crime and disorder and a possible threat to children using the local lavatories, putting green and public cafe. In terms of crime and disorder, during the summer, in the day and during the evenings, the car park and beach below the clubhouse and adjacent to the new clubhouse are very popular. Extending the times during which alcohol can be served could easily lead to an increase in crime and disorder and a possible threat to vulnerable people and children. In terms of public nuisance, I object to the hours proposed on the basis that the extended times for sale of alcohol, the possibility of alcohol being sold in the halfway hut, and music have the potential to lead to a public nuisance, acts which interfere with the rights of the public, the general public. The clubhouse itself is on the edge of an area of outstanding natural beauty and is part of a golf club. It's not a pub, a nightclub, or an events venue. The extended hours for the sale of alcohol and the playing of music indoors and outdoors will impinge on the quiet location and the right to quiet enjoyment. The potential for loud music, fireworks, party reveling, and cars driving away late at night are all increased, but the potential for public nuisance, and there's a reference to anything else of a similar description, which is far too wide and all-encompassing. In terms of noise nuisance, it's worth bearing in mind that the predominant winds in that area are easterly and northerly, which will both blow the sound towards the housing. The new houses
are really pretty close to the clubhouse, and I think there's potential for the music to be a nuisance to them. The golf course is crossed by a public highway, has 2 public rights of way adjacent to it, and a permissive path. And I think there is a risk of nuisance to those people using the highway and on the rights of way and the permissive path from potential golfers who've had alcohol early in the morning. I think there's a risk of increasing the amount of litter. And although it's reassuring to hear that these times that are proposed are in case there's a wedding midweek or in case something is needed, my partner who's here today has had the experience of running an events venue that had open water and a swimming pool. It was licensed to a particular time, and very often she was put under pressure to have the maximum possible length of event, and found people who had had too much to drink in the swimming pool or in the moat. I think those are all sources of potential nuisance. And that's largely what I want to say. Thank you.
Thank you. Do you have any questions for this representative?
I'll say the same as to the previous objector. If the music was limited to indoors after, say, 9 o'clock in the evening, would you still object?
I'd no longer be objecting to that part. I would still have objections around the sale of alcohol and food at the hours that are proposed.
And you have any questions? Licensing officer, do you have any questions for this representative? Do you have any questions? Thank you. Okay, thank you very much. Sorry, oh, sorry. Do you have any questions? And is there one more speaker?
Yeah.
Could before you start, you just turn your mic off a minute. Sorry, yeah. Could I just ask, we've had 2 quite eloquent representations. If you could bring anything further that we could consider, I don't want to go over old stuff again. Thank you.
Okay, I'm Sue Downs and I live in Ferry Road, and I totally agree with everything which has been said before by the other 2 objectors. The one thing which concerns me is the fact that there's no accommodation for wedding guests at the venue. So that will mean that if there's all the guests leaving late at night, will require taxis or coaches. So this will be a lot of vehicles going along our road and along the main road, which will cause a disturbance if it's happening after 1:30 at night. And people getting on, know from experience, people getting on buses or coaches after leaving a venue make a lot of noise, and this will be carried across to what is primarily a residential area. And as I say, there is no accommodation available there, so everybody will be leaving late at night. And this is when rowdy behaviour happens, and this will be a cause of major disturbance in the area. And we had somebody not that long ago come into our premises who was obviously drunk, tried to get in our front door, who'd obviously been at an event. I don't know whether it was at the golf course or where it was, but they were still wandering up our road where there's no pavements, causing a disturbance. And I foresee that if this happens regularly at the golf course, this is going to cause a lot of problems in a primarily residential area where there's a lot of young families, older people who want to get sleep. And this is basically going to have a major impact on us living in that area.
Thank you very much. Andrea, do you have any questions? Do you have any questions? Okay. Right, I think we've now come to the summing up. So, licensed officer, do you want to sum up?
Nothing further from us, thank you.
Thank you. Right, it's your turn if you want to sum up. Sorry,
Last objectives.
that's the last. I saw it's in the wrong order here.
Yeah.
Do one of you did you want to come and sum up? No, I'd rather you come there.
Yeah.
Thank you. One other point is that the street lights in that area go off at 11:30. And you are talking about a residential area next to a car park. So it's very dark over a wide area. And my concern would be for people making their way, if they're walking rather than taking cars, if, that they're going to have difficulty leaving the area.
Okay, thank you. Right,
No, appreciate all the comments that have obviously been made today. No, it's just a recap really that yes, we are looking at an earlier start in regards to alcohol, etc., from 9 o'clock rather than 11, and 4 days where we're looking at half an hour extra. To reiterate again, we're not looking to advertise this late night refreshment. That's not of interest to us anyway. It's more in an interest for New Year's Eve and those odd occasions where a function may request it. Really appreciate obviously all the neighbours and the residents, and we want to make sure we look after them as well. As said, obviously we're quite open to being flexible in regards to the outside music being around 9 o'clock in the evening instead. The 2 lawns that we just mentioned, one's actually the cafe side, so that won't be accessible after 7 o'clock in the evening anyway. The other side is just the function side, so there's only 1 lawn for the function room. I have no further to add.
okay, thank you very much. Well, thank you for all those who made representation. We will now adjourn for a minimum of 1 hour with the legal advisor and democratic services officer to consider his decision. We may take longer because we want to make sure that we cover everything that's been spoken about today. And we'll test this on here. It'll take as long as it takes.
Thank you, Chair. We're back online.
The meeting has been reconvened. The safety issues of the building are still the same as what I announced earlier. Come to the decision. Felixstowe Ferry Golf Club Limited, the applicant, has applied for a new premises licence at Ferry Road, Felixstowe, Suffolk, IP 119RY. This is supply of alcohol on and off sales and live recording music, performance of dance, late night refreshment, and anything of similar description to that falling within sections E, F, or G of the licensing activities on the application. The proposed opening hours are Monday to Sunday, 5:30 to 1. Sorry, we should change that to 24 hours. But anyway, New Year's Day till 2:30 and private functions till 1:30. The subcommittee first heard from the licensing officer, who summarised the report. The licensing officer confirmed that the subcommittee has been held as 3 representations against the application has been received from other persons, local residents. No representations were received from any responsible authorities. The subcommittee then heard from the applicant, who explained that they were having a new clubhouse built and they were unable to transfer their current licence to the new premises. They were seeking amendments to this new licence. They were seeking earlier start times for licensable activities and the extension of alcohol sales. The applicant stated that the inclusion of late night refreshments permissions was primarily to cover exceptional occasions, such as New Year's Eve, and not intended for regular use or promotion. The venue will continue to operate mainly as a golf club, with only occasional events held in line with existing licence hours. The function room was located away from nearby homes to reduce noise and disturbance. The cafe would operate as a public facility with alcohol sales only until around 7 p.m. in the summer, and no intention to operate late into the evening. The terraced area would be primarily for members' use. The halfway hut would allow members to purchase drinks while on the course. The applicant noted that the last recorded licensing complaint was 2018, with no direct complaints received in the last 4 years. The applicant acknowledged the concerns raised and expressed willingness to work with residents going forward. The applicant confirmed that the CCTV would be in place. Following a question from the subcommittee, the applicant confirmed they would be happy with a condition prohibiting outdoor music after 9 p.m. The subcommittee then heard from those who made representations in objection to the application. The objectives raised concerns that the proposed licensing changes will increase noise and disturbance in residential areas, particularly due to extended hours, additional events, off sales, and late night refreshments. They highlighted the site's coastal location where sound travelled easily and reported previous issues with loud music, events overrunning permitted times, and limited communication about upcoming activities. The particular concern was expressed about the use of outdoor lawns and potential marquee events which could intensify noise impacts. The objectors also feared of off-sales and takeaway use could lead to antisocial behaviour, litter, and increased traffic. There is no street light in the area after 11:30 and concerns PM, and concerns were raised about the proximity of the cliff. Concerns were also raised about increased vehicle noise from people leaving the venue. The decision of the subcommittee. The subcommittee, having considered the application, the licensing officer's report, and representations received from the applicant and the objectors, has decided to grant the application subject to such conditions as are consistent with the operation schedule, modified as follows. The applicant will publish on their website, public accessible, with at least 48 out notice start and finish times of any events which will finish later than 2300 hours. No live or amplified music will be permitted outdoors after 2100 hours. The contact number for the premises should be available on the applicant's website. The licensing and open hours are granted as applied for, with the exception of the prohibition of live and recorded music after 2100 hours. And there's a long list of the licensing agreed. The reason for the decision, the subcommittee notes that under paragraph 9.12 of the statutory guidance that the responsible authorities are experts in their respective fields. Subcommittee took great weight in making its decision upon the lack of objection from responsible authorities, most notably the police and environmental protection, as they are the main source of information on prevention of public nuisance. The subcommittee considered the council's own guidance in relation to licence and objectives, and that each new licence should be considered on individual merit. Additionally, 6.1 of the council policy states that the subcommittee should not seek to restrict the trading hours of any particular premises, and let it is considered appropriate to promote one or more of the licence and objectives. As the applicant has previous experience of running a licensed premises, the subcommittee is confident that the applicant is capable of promoting the licence objectives. The subcommittee also took into account representations from the objectors and added these conditions to alleviate these concerns. The subcommittee advises that if the objectors experience any public nuisance as a result of this licence being granted, then it can be reported to the council. Anyone, including residents, can call for review of the premises licence. In arriving at the decision, the subcommittee has taken into consideration the representations of both the applicant and the objectors, as well as the licensing officer's report. The subcommittee also considered the council's own licensing guidance and statement of licensing authority, as well as the statutory section 182 guidance and the Human Rights Act 1998. The applicant / licence holder or anyone who has made representation has the right to appeal to the Magistrates Court within 21 days of receiving notice of this decision. Now, this is correct, apart from we just need to change times to 24 hours, where it's okay. Okay, that's it. Thanks very much.